Okay, we're all set, ready to go.
All right. Jessica's not here yet.
He's gonna be joining on Zoom, and she's away, so.
Okay. So when she gets here, I guess. I will call the meeting to order, review the agenda for a removal or adjustments of any items.
We have one more to add, signatures for Bristol loan document RF 3-575 2.0 from the Vermont Bond Bank, a signature by the chair as well as the treasurer. That'll be under maybe C1, 5C1. 5 F. Whatever. I don't know why I didn't see. I should have done it. Yeah. 5F.
5F.
Sorry.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right. Public forum opportunity for citizens not on the agenda to briefly share comments or concerns. Jimmy.
I want to thank all you guys for all you do, everybody, keeping the place running, keeping the town together, it's a good job. And everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, safe one.
It ran while I was gone for 3 weeks, you know?
We weren't
Thank you,
sure,
Jim.
we weren't sure of the last meeting though. We were done by 9 o'clock though.
Okay, so I have a goal.
That's right.
Shocking.
Is that unusual? Yes.
Anyone else? Seeing no one, department head roundtable. Aaron.
Evening, tax day is come and gone. We have a few that have not paid. We actually had 5 checks that bounced, which is unfortunate. We don't have any election stuff going on. Working on the audit, getting the documents up for 25. And I believe Greg, I don't know if he signed, did you sign 24 today?
Yes.
Were you able to get into the
Yep.
program?
Yes, ma'am.
So he signed FY 24, so we'll probably be seeing our bound copies here. Sometime in the next couple of weeks, I would guess.
Yep.
So,
Do we get electronic and paper or just electronic?
yeah, we've got electronic already, but he had to do the signing of them through a different portal, so.
Mhm. Mhm, okay. What about tax sales? We have a status. on-
Tax sale, I nagged him again, asked him about the estate ones, because they look up bigger
Right.
ones. And I sent him additional information, so I'm hoping I hear maybe next week. But I've been poking him.
Do you want me to poke him?
No, he actually responded, can you send me? He has.
Anything to add, Chris?
Last week, if you didn't know, send your way in, there's no more totes in the hallway. And there's also 135 less boxes of outdated documents in the town now. Had Secure Shred come last week and we cleaned up that. Most of it was at Howden. We followed the state archivist recommendations as far as what we had to keep. I don't know, Greg, was it maybe a dozen boxes of things over there we kept out of all the boxes?
Yeah.
And a handful
Possible
here
that.
we kept, so, it's empty, I mean, here's empty, there's half full and organized. And started working on some IT stuff today to possibly change vendors and working on the personnel policy stuff, so.
Okay. Grants, Frida.
Frida won't be here, but she sent me an update. I will read. Let's see. She says, very good news from FEMA as we're seeing closeout payments, state share administration costs to be finalized with the state for both 2023 and 2024 events. This is all incoming money to the town for work long since completed. This also closes out these events officially. We have notified the state, rescinding grant application under the LWCF, the skate park funds. A very positive reaction from the state was very good news and emphasized our application was strong in the funder's eyes, and we should absolutely apply again in the future. Third point, we have notified both project manager Pat Travers and state canceling the Basin Street grant agreements for funds not yet expense. Handling expenditures already called down, paid down to the town by the state. payback to the state of $69,290.61 is the likely scenario. Stay tuned as we work with the state and project manager for the final word on this. Lastly, we were going to apply for an FY 2026 Better Connections grant for $200,000 towards master planning, but due to tight timeline, agreed to apply next year to allow the board to budget for this and allow staff to strengthen the application. That's all from Frida.
Recreation. No.
No wrong for this evening.
Zoning.
AZ
No, easy.
is out currently.
It's been busy though. I have to go back to a few weeks, so. We've had stuff coming in.
That's it. You started like you were gonna say something earth shattering and the wheels are turning. Okay, gotcha.
Sorry.
Okay. Consent agenda, park use application, Bristol Core Lumen event, approval of cash management policy. Signature for Amy Smith Town Health Officer documents, approval of past minutes. 11/10/25, authorized warrants and any liquor license or tobacco license, and the loan agreement for Bristol West.
Bristol East.
Step 2. I make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second,
I have a motion and a second. Lumen. That the same as it's always been?
Yes.
No questions there. Approval of cash management policy.
That what we just signed?
that's what we just signed, yeah.
Okay.
Still got us.
There's a policy that need to be updated, identified through the audit
Okay,
in relation to federal grants.
and then, signatures making Amy Smith our health officer. Minutes,
That's it.
Yeah,
My
you're all
my
set.
question.
okay, any tobacco or liquor?
No.
And the warrants are,
$189,823.85.
Didn't like quite enough.
Yeah.
and then the loan agreement for Bristol East. Anything on that?
No, we're just signing our lives away
Okay,
for the next 50 years.
there are no further questions. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Consideration of special event for street use closure permit, Anthony Santos, Saints Underground.
That's that movie.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how's it
Hi.
going?
Good, thanks.
Um,
Can you
can you
get
guys-
us this project?
sure. You guys can hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool. My name's Anthony. I'm a film producer based out of New York City. I am collaborating with a director, Lucas Huffman. He's based in Montpelier, and we're working on a 90-minute narrative sci-fi drama of this asteroid impact that's coming to just end all things, and what this mother does in preparation, like the weeks leading up to the impact. So she goes around and she does a couple of site visits with a lot of the local Vermonters, and all at the same time she's trying to repair relations with her own mother and son. So it's it's a very modest, independent film with a very big heart. And right now we're slated to film in many parts of Vermont, which include Lincoln, Bristol, Colchester, Milton, and East Montpelier. And particularly what I am asking for is a request to use and film the Main Street portion of Bristol with the help of signage and possible law enforcement. So the activity, what we have planned is, a film crew being on the road. And the scene itself is our lead actress, Gabby Hoffman. You know, she's walking past a lot of closed businesses. And you know, here we're hoping to do it early in the morning so that we would be very low impact for the community.
Okay, so this is it's starting at 12 AM. And they're looking to have the ability to block off parking spaces on Main Street at that time, all the way down both sides. And then the shooting would start, is it 7 AM and go
But that
to,
was 8 to 9.
So we would like to do a 7 to 9 a.m. for actual filming. The request that was put in for the 12 a.m. that's to hold parking. I wasn't sure if I needed to, you know, expand that block. But the actual film activity is 7 to 9 a.m.
okay. And in terms of the road being closed entirely, it is going to be closed, correct? So you have full control. Your character is walking down the middle of the street.
Correct. That would be the request. Yes.
So similar to like Pocock and other events, we have a blocked off area for that time.
Can I ask a question? Are you, December 7th, I see is the date. Are you gonna care if it snows or we have a major snowstorm that night?
Weather has certainly been something on all of our minds. And I feel we take that, like in typical procedure in film, we take that on a case by case scenario. So, you know, if we are impacted by weather morning of, you know, the producers, including myself, you know, we all come together to talk about, you know, how we, you know, make adjustments if need be, or pull the plug on it altogether.
Well, the reason I ask is because if we got a major snowstorm, our guys need to know way ahead of time so that they can clear the roads.
Well, not only that, we got the
School traffic,
state trucks are gonna be, they're due to plow.
right?
All right. So as of right now, we have not planned for should that be a case. You know, I mean, just speaking it out loud now, I would say, yeah, if we were prevented, you know, we wouldn't have the activity, we would cancel it.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, you might want to just consider an alternate date and put it on there just so we can approve it and you don't need to come back.
Right.
Okay. Can I have one moment to look at our calendar real quick? If I can present the alternative date, I would do so. 1 second.
So in terms of I don't remember, there have been a couple film shoots on Main Street that have closed Main Street. I don't know if we've ever diverted traffic like this before. For the parking, could the town assist by putting on like the no parking light, which we usually reserve?
That's what I was thinking. We do put that up because
Yeah.
then people would have to
To
be off.
notify people, just be able to sort of assist with this, you know, they'll have people out there and crew making sure
Mhm.
people aren't parking, because the road's gonna be open for a number of hours, but of course it's middle of the night. And then, but we could do that where we could send announcements out, so hopefully majority of people who would normally park there aren't, and so they can save those spots.
It's December, so they're looking for the light anyway.
Yes,
It's a Sunday.
right, no, but people still park there.
Right.
Anthony, what's the problem of starting it, closing it from 6 to 8 to 7 to 9 and I'm literally with the restaurant in town. You know, Sunday morning breakfast for people and going to church.
You know, I certainly want to leave it open to, you know, again, be as low impact to the community as possible, you know, so if it's a conversation of chopping up our time, like we will utilize whatever window to get what we need, you know.
Just a thought, I just thought.
Well,
Of course, yeah.
they're still gonna be able to access those businesses, or are you asking them to be closed as well?
No, so we would not impede on any business. You know, again, some of the reasoning behind doing it early is in hopes that most of these businesses would be closed. You know, but for the planned film activity, we do not plan on blocking entryways or stopping people from getting to where they need to go.
Snaps would be the only one.
Perhaps to be the
Yeah.
only one.
Yeah.
At 7.
What about the
Snaps, you said snaps, yeah. You know, and we're also chatting with Sherry at Snaps because she's also a potential filming location for us.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, if we had to look into it, you know, I'm sure we can work out with Sherry. And just to give you guys that alternative date, we are scheduled to film at Snaps on Friday. No, sorry, I apologize. Thursday, December 11th.
Okay, so you're in touch with Sherry anyway, so.
Yeah. Mhm.
So they'll be aware of the Sunday evening or Sunday early morning potential. Okay, so that's good. Yeah, they'd be the only business open at that
Will the
time.
bakery be open Sunday morning?
Later on, I think it opens at
At 10,
either
9 or
eight,
10?
8 or 9, yeah, on a Sunday.
On Sunday, yeah, okay.
And then
Yeah,
Thursday, 7 to 9, 2 in the morning?
So what we would need to film inside of Snaps, that's all interior, that's an evening.
Okay.
You know, so you know, if we had to push due to weather, you know, we would just have to reschedule. And yeah, either we film it that same evening, like we just get it all nighttime, or you know, we would start our day similar to the original plan of like a 7 to 9, and then go elsewhere and come back for the evening. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah,
The
and that-
Sunday is better for the traffic, because if you had to do 7 to 9 on the 11th, that's a Thursday morning during school.
All right.
You know, Lincoln and Starksboro would have to go.
And the school.
And the school.
Street.
And
Yeah. Yeah, this was all in consideration when we were initially scheduling this. So yeah, and then with the thinking that, you know, if we definitely get what we need between 7 to 9, we're out by 9. We're not impeding, we're not closing anything down anymore, and everything resumes to normal.
okay. And I think the new route around using spring is good. That's what we typically do for an event we hold in August.
Yeah,
So
it makes sense.
Have you talked to Bruce?
yeah, you've been in contact with the chief of police,
Chief of
correct?
So I was in Vermont last week. I went to the police department. I spoke to, I believe, the secretary there because Bruce wasn't in. But the conversation was that, you know, all of this would have to go through the select board first.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You want a motion?
Need a motion if we're gonna,
Motion to approve the spring event and street closure permit. Do we need insurance?
Yes, so
Okay.
it's part of
With
the,
an insurance with the town of Bristol listed and
I'll
Bruce. Once
yeah,
we get our,
I'll second that.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Do you wanna put the 11th as a
Alternate date.
alternate date?
yeah,
They're supplying all the signs and the traffic personnel and all that for the road.
road closure.
do we have signage that we can use? Or we
Well,
could-
Bruce
we could
has
lend
some
them? I know Bruce has
Bruce
some.
says a little bit, but I was told about 4 or 5 years ago that I'm not supposed to lend out my signs to private people.
Mhm.
So how does that work? If I'm gonna be able to lend them out to him for private company people. If I'm gonna be able to lend them out to somebody else.
What's the policy for doing it like 4th of July?
4th of July is the Bristol event. Same with like lending them out to
Oh,
Becomes as a Bristol
Yeah.
contractor, cause he does the water.
Yeah,
But I can't lend them out to like, say, Mount Atkins. Or
we let them out, how many people,
Pocock,
Yeah.
but that's still a town event.
how many people asked to borrow the signs?
Not very many, just a handful, but I'm just,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a policy that was passed when Therese was here.
great,
okay.
so I'm just bringing it up
Sure.
front, so.
Yeah. I would say that we could allow it for this event and we could update that policy if we wanted to. I don't see an issue. I mean, we don't have a lot of requests for it. If we started getting more, I think we.
No,
could
but I
do
think-
that.
I think there's some reimbursement's gotta be, you know, not just the sign, but there's got time to put them all out and this and that and.
We're not doing traffic control.
No, Eric would be
My guys
putting
are
out, it would just be using the signs. They have their own people that are handling that and he would work with the police chief
But right now they're sitting
Got very-
at the garage in a building. So he's gotta take them and, are they coming to get them from him or has he gotta drop them off at the corners?
I think it's something they'd work out. I think.
I'm sure we
if
can figure that
allowed
out.
them to work.
We don't need to figure that out.
Yeah,
We don't need to get into the weeds. We don't need to micromanage the,
No, I just wanted to bring it.
No, no, that's-
That's all.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's good to be reminded. Okay. Yeah,
For-
I think I'd be fine with using a sign package if it's available on that day. I think it's just a nice, good thing that we can use because we know that we have a set. And it makes it safer for the whole community.
is there gonna be, we're gonna do some pre-notification. What about putting signs out ahead of time like we do for the other events, the 4th of July in Pocock and
Yeah, we put up a foot porch forum and.
yeah, but typically we put up I think it's a requirement that you have a 4x4
You're
sign.
closing the road.
Yeah. Ahead of time. I don't know what V-Trans is.
That's a state requirement.
Yeah,
I put Anthony in contact with Courtney at Bristol Core. They have a couple signs that they use and they could possibly just use, I mean, it's obviously different wording, but they could do their own wording on those signs and put them out. For that
I just think they need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
I'm not,
Yeah,
I usually see one at the bottom of Stony Hill.
yeah, bottom of Stony Hill and down by the Lord's Prayer Rock is where they usually are, or somewhere on East
It's already
Street.
closed from like
yeah,
4th of July.
just to prepare people.
We're getting in the weeds now.
We're not getting in the weeds. We want those signs. They have to be there.
If Eric's gonna have time to do this. Then.
They're not our responsibility. We're just, I just want it known that
I
has to
agree
be
with you.
done.
That's their responsibility to
Yeah.
take care of it.
Yeah, I think working with Bruce
Mhm.
and working with Bristol Core, perhaps, they'd be able to figure that out.
But as long as all the signage is
Yeah.
done properly,
Yeah.
then I'm good.
Right, cool, no, that's good.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Fantastic, thank you, Anthony.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you guys so much. Ian, I guess I'll follow up with you over email and we'll get in contact with anyone and everyone that we need to and have a safe and fun shoot.
That's great, fantastic, looking forward to it.
Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bristol Fire Department, purchase authorization for a utility pickup truck. Brett.
Good evening, everybody. Apologies for not being there in person this evening, but I'm out of state on leave with family for the holiday. But my assumption is you've all had an opportunity to review the memo I sent to you all with my justification, the quotes, vehicle specifications. So I am here to answer your questions.
Do you have a choice in terms of who you want to go with as a vendor?
Well, the lowest bidder, which would be, I'm not going to say I have a preferred vendor, but you know,
I mean, very little difference, so you
yeah,
have
no,
the other.
I'm recommending that we purchase the vehicle from Heritage Ford. They had the lowest price.
Okay. How much it will be added to it? In your memo, you sort of detail some of that. Do you plan to add a bunch to it in terms of making it usable how you want to get it out?
So the items I listed in the memo are the initial upfront costs. So that's an emergency lighting package, the installation of a mobile radio, the graphics, you know, reflective striping, the chevron on the tailgate, and possibly a bed slide. Most likely want to do that up front. And as far as anything else down the road, you know, there was discussion about possibly a cap, perhaps, but really right now, we just really want to get the vehicle here, get it in a serviceable condition so we can begin utilizing it and, you know, kind of feel it out for a year and see how it fits into the day-to-day operations of the department, you know, and should we identify a need for, say, a cap, perhaps we could consider one down the road. But I think at a minimum at this time, I would probably just purchase an inexpensive tonneau cover, something to just keep weather, snow, rain out of the back end of it. You know, when a firefighter needs to transport their personal protective equipment or other to a training exercise.
Okay. Where do you plan on storing it? Is it inside with the other vehicles, or would this be outside in the fire department area? Or
This
fire?
vehicle would, yeah, this vehicle would be kept inside the fire station in the apparatus bay with the other vehicles.
Okay. And I have one more question. You have an estimate of how many miles you might put on a year? I was just curious, given that,
Yeah,
you know, firefighters use their own personal vehicles. We're obviously trying to relieve that with this vehicle.
Well, if you really want to know mileage, I can pull up some mileage reimbursements I submitted last year. Let's see here. Mileage reimbursements.
I knew you'd have that detail, so I was just curious.
That's
Yeah,
also.
So just one example. So one of our firefighters who is enrolled in the firefighter 1 and 2 program. So for the first half of the course, essentially the first semester of the course, which began at the end of August of 22 and went through December, the end of December of 22, they accumulated 1,616 miles driving back and forth to Rutland Town to take the firefighter 1 and 2 program.
And that would all depend on where that course flows
Right,
too.
exactly.
You know, if it's Middlebury, it's obviously gonna be a lot less miles than if it's
Yeah.
Williston or Burlington or Rutland.
Or Bennington.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Gonna send them to Bennington.
Well, unfortunately, the days of Addison County hosting these courses, these certification programs, which are required for Bristol firefighters, we used to host one annually. It's unfortunate, but the Fire Academy has changed their strategies down there. And so if we have one in Addison County every 3 years, we'll be fortunate. But otherwise, it will either be, the other courses will be in Rutland County, most likely is where our firefighters will go. And the last 2 courses where we've sent firefighters, which was 22, 23 and 24, 25, were both in Rutland.
Yeah, okay. No, it looks like an excellent vehicle. Hopefully it'll serve you well.
I think it will serve the town and the fire department very well. And as I outlined in the memo to you all, it also assists with wear and tear. Firefighters use their privately owned vehicles for a lot of tasks we perform, things that it's not appropriate or doesn't make sense to use a large fire apparatus, or quite frankly, it just can't accomplish the task. But, we do a lot of public service outreach, like installing smoke detectors in people's homes. So instead of driving a 32-foot long fire truck, we can take a utility pickup truck. I'm tasked with occasionally going to investigate unpermitted fires, instead of taking my personal vehicle after fires, transporting hose that's been contaminated with carcinogens and mud and just soiled with whatever back to the fire station, because we, the town, unfortunately have had to pay a few insurance claims over the last few years for damage we've caused to a firefighter's privately owned vehicle. And that's all it cost us $1,000 each time, because that's our deductible.
This will just go into your maintenance schedule with all the rest of the trucks once you get it right.
That's correct, Michelle. I'm no mechanic, but I don't envision this vehicle costing a great deal of money to maintain for many years. Obviously we'll perform the routine maintenance just as we do on any other vehicle, your regular oil changes, etc. We're fortunate to have people with mechanical backgrounds. That's what they do for a living, and they tell me when vehicles need to be serviced. But I don't see this being a big expense. And as I also noted in my memo, long term, I would envision this vehicle being around for a few decades, just like any other vehicle the fire department procures. And I intentionally don't want to pull the funds for this out of the capital vehicle plan. I want to pull them out of the capital equipment, fund. I want to pull these out of the capital equipment fund, because as I also noted in the memo, the funds for this vehicle came in the form of a donation, if you will. There was an estate settlement a couple years ago, and over a 2-year period of time, the fire department, the town of Bristol Fire Department, was awarded $220,000 approximately. So that's a very generous gift.
Yeah.
The timeline.
What's the timeline, Sharon asks?
A timeline for acquiring it? Well, according to the dealers, it could take up to 1 to 2 months to procure the vehicle. So hopefully, I'd sometime in January, we might see this in service. I'm sorry, Sharon.
Just wondering for insurance purposes, because we'll have to have insurance where it leaves a lot.
Correct. I will definitely work directly with Sharon to make sure, you know, we have that in place before we roll any new town vehicle down the roadway.
Right. Alright,
Thanks, chief.
I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of a fire department utility vehicle. As proposed by Chief LaRose.
Second.
A motion and a second, further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Thanks, Brett.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all. Thank you for your
And-
support.
Chief,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Peter.
go back and enjoy your vacation.
I will. Thank you very much.
Have a good Thanksgiving, chief.
To you all as well.
Water Commissioners, Bristol West Customer Service Lines Replacement Project Proposal Overview.
It's just been riveting, I can't take it.
Alright, alright, I've got all of those, I can share it, I can see it now. There it is.
You need glasses?
No. Okay, so you've seen a little bit of this, hopefully you've all read through it.
You sent it to base camp, I can't open anything. That's why I don't ever respond to this, I'm sorry. Can't
So
open
if that's a problem, you can let me
Yeah.
know and I can help you with that.
it. I get Google on this bank phone, they told me, so.
Well, it's nothing to do with, everything should come to an email for you. So you should be able to see it. So. We need to move on this project. This is a project that ties in directly with the town's service line replacement project, which is starting next year. That'll be phase 2, Bristol West. This project ties in that if we replace service lines and they're connected to customer service lines, if they need to be replaced because they're identified in our inventory, they need to be replaced at the same time. We can't leave lines that are potentially contaminated and connect them to a new line that we're putting in. So along with the Bristol West project, we have this additional project that we need to work on. So this is a proposal of how to do that. So it's essentially taking what we have now for Bristol West, and that is 59 non-compliant customer-owned service lines. We have 1 lead line that's been identified. We have 40 galvanized iron steel lines that need replacement. And then we have 18 unknown lines. The unknown lines come from various attempts to figure out what those lines were in people's homes and not being able to do that in the time that we did the inventory about 1.5 years ago. So the first part of this will be figuring out, if we can, what those unknown lines are. If we can't, for whatever reason, they stay as unknown and we need to replace them. So we definitely want to figure out what they are. We hope that they're something like copper, and then they don't need replacement more than likely. Or they will fit into another category, hopefully not lead lines, or galvanized iron. In that case, they'll need replacing. So this is, go to the next page. I've mapped it out. I think everyone has a link to the map so they can see.
There's Peter's house at the top.
No, my house is, no, my house, when it was in the water district, has copper.
Yeah.
We'll just give it up.
So.
I have black plastic now from my own well.
Sorry. Okay, so. There we go. So the timeline as we've got it, I keep updating this as we sort of get further and further along, but essentially. Our first part of this, hopefully we'll start as soon as possible, is identifying the unknown lines. So that's letters to the homes and asking if we can identify the lines. We know who the people are, and we know that with properties, so it's just reaching out to those people and hopefully connecting with those people. Once we've got the final inventory, then we figure out what amount of lines need to be replaced. Hopefully it's less than 59, but if it's 59, then we need to start notifying customers about the replacement.
You say the Bristol West project here, 59 total or 59 just in the west?
Just in the west.
Okay, so we don't know Bristol East.
Well, we do. It's just not part of this project. If we add it in, it gets too
So
complicated.
not total of 59 in the whole district.
No,
Right.
it's
59 in the
more.
west.
Yeah. There are fewer, I believe, in the east.
Yeah.
And there are still unknowns that we want to identify and hopefully get them known. We want to make sure that we're, notifying property owners and the public as much as possible. We might want to have a public information session about this. I think property owners may know about our water line inventory, or the inventory they might know about the project that's happening in terms of replacing the town's lines. They probably don't know about the potential for replacing their own lines.
Yeah, the other side of that is we want to make it clear that if we identify a line that's not what it's supposed to be when we're in the process, one that we thought was good, and when we're in the
Right.
process of putting this line in, it will have to be changed.
Yes. Yeah, so we can have wording that explains that. Generally, the inventory was pretty accurate. But obviously there were those unknowns. And we do discover things once in a while as we go in and update houses, things like that, or if we have a water break. So part of this is that though the service line for the town is being paid for by the town for that project, and it becomes part of debt for the water district as a whole, the service line customer has to be paid for by the customer. It's not something that the town is able to pay for. And so one of the ideas is to sort of try to identify how to assist people as much as possible with the payment of those replacement lines. Currently, the cost is estimated to be $3,000 to $4,000 for the replacement of the line. We're looking at ways to make that less expensive, but it all depends on how long the line is and how complicated it is to get it into the house from the curb stop.
Ian, is that number based on copper? Or is that number based on the HDP, whatever? So,
That number is based on copper, I believe. Jill, you're on and you should be able to unmute. I think that's based on copper,
So
but
it could be less.
but we have the option to use plastic, and more than
Right.
likely, because of the extreme difference in cost, we would use plastic for
I still don't know that even if we can save like $300 to $700 by moving from copper to CTS, I still don't know that we can get much under 3 on most of them.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Yeah, there's so many porches and so many trees.
Yeah, we're looking at options to be able to make that as easy as possible. One option could be using equipment that doesn't need to have a contractor trench the entire way and go under a porch. It would be essentially directional boring using a certain piece of equipment. There's a certain cost associated with that equipment, but could be a direction we go, given that we might have up to 60 lines that we need to replace in the district. With this project, it needs to be coordinated with our master service line inventory and updates, because all of these ideally would be completed before that project even comes down that street next year or over the next 2 years. Initially, my first couple of drafts of this that maybe some people have seen, we had it being, we create an RFP, we go out and have a contractor, and as a bidding process. We've had discussions after that with our current water operator, VTUMS, Vermont Utility Management Services, and Jill's on tonight. And so Jill has said that they would be able to be the contractor if we wish them to for this project. And I think it makes sense. They're the ones who know the lines most. I think they have the ability to do it. And more than likely, it's going to be the cheapest option we can go with, instead of putting it out to bid and having other contractors come in. We also know that VTUMS is working in coordination with VT Engineering for our master waterline project, so they'll have full information about both projects and how they dovetail with each other. Part of the cost, or at least the helping customers pay, was the idea of potentially using the Bristol Revolving Loan Fund program to help people use that fund to help pay for the lines over a certain number of years. And we could, depending on household income or however we decide, we could set a particular percentage rate, going from 0% to a particular 1 or 2 if we wanted to, but that would be our choice. In the documents for the revolving loan, it does state the use is rehabilitation of either owner or non-owner occupied housing units that will meet housing needs to low to moderate. So that, to me, that seems to be able to fit in terms of replacement water line for a house. But we want to obviously double check our policy on that and make sure that's gonna fit.
Yeah, don't you have to check the interest rate too, because it doesn't say the interest rate shall be
Right,
2 percentage points above,
right.
whatever.
So we'd have to figure out what we wanted to do. It could be a scale in terms of if it's very low income, maybe it's 0% interest. I have it in here as a 1 to 2 year, but Jill pointed out to me today in an email that that's actually still a pretty good amount of money if it's a $4,000 project or, construction cost. So we might want to do longer terms for that.
Most of
like
them
up
are
to
usually
5
5 years.
Right, so we could figure out what an average is that we'd use, and obviously, the idea is that the town is trying to give an incentive to a customer. To be able to encourage them to do this. The state, it's not the town sort of forcing customers to do this, it's really the state. The state wants every district that has a water district, or every town that has a water district or city, to know what's in the ground and make sure that it's not something that's contaminated. Because that's a detriment to the entire town.
Imagine that, they want everybody to have compliant water lines.
What's the average cost to replace these?
So we think it's like 3,000 to 4,000. But it all depends on distance and then complications in terms of going under a porch and into the basement or whatever. So that's what we're thinking at the moment.
Make sure we have enough, reserve funds.
Yes, exactly.
Not to drain it down enough so that we couldn't utilize it for other purposes.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I hope that, if we do have 59 lines that need to be replaced, that only a handful might take advantage of the revolving loan. The rest might be able to pay or have other needs.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Each one of those discussions is an individual discussion with the property owner. In this one, in terms of these phases, I have it where there's 2 years of construction, which matches the service line project that we're doing. We may want to do it, fast track it if our contractor VTUMs, if we agree to use them, if they're able to do it quicker. I think it's beneficial to have it done well before any line change comes down the road, literally down the road. And so maybe we are able to complete this in year 1 instead of over 2 years.
I would also imagine they probably want to knock it out fast because they have the actual water project to start on.
That's right.
So
yeah. So I think not that this necessarily needs approval, but maybe just sort of letting everyone know the direction that we're looking at. Any comments obviously are more than welcome, but it's.
I'm sure there are some people who will.
Like this.
Well, they'll fight it, but there are also people who will pay.
Mhm.
Who will get their water line changed. and pay.
But I wanna give the people who want to, somebody on Pine Street or any other street that says, I got an excavator myself. I can dig it, put my own line in, and you just gotta come and inspect it before I bury it. I don't wanna hand this.
I don't think that's what we're gonna do. Because
I'm not willing to hand this off, do their marketing for them and hand it off to them.
to
We got
VTUM
other excavators
to
in
VTUM.
town. We got other excavators in town and plumbers in town that could use this work also.
Well, I guess what you're saying is if they decide they're gonna go with somebody else, they can't.
Right, that's what I wanna give.
I think that's what he's saying, not saying they don't have to.
I own my line, you're not telling me who I got on here. That's what I'm saying, Greg.
Okay.
You're telling me
Yeah, and
I own it.
I think if we offer it as a package, we offer it with the contractor, if we're gonna be doing the financing.
Yeah.
Then that comes with the contractor, but if you decide that you wanna have Joe Schmo put your line in.
I don't have a problem with it. I don't think anyone else.
I think-
But if it's on our financing,
I think if
It's
we're
under-
tying it to our financing, if you wanna put your, I agree with you, if you wanna put your line in, you wanna hire your guy, you hire your guy to do it, but if we're. For lack of a better term,
Providing.
selling a package,
Yeah,
the package comes where we have control of the
Yeah.
package.
then there will need to be stop points where they'll have to have those things on contract or ready to go, otherwise. It'll make an absolute living hell for Jill and them,
Yeah.
because they'll be dealing with a bunch of different, like. I'll get a contractor,
Yeah.
and Jill's got all these other things to do.
I just did some quick math in my head here and figured out the streets. There's about 10 streets. So Munson was our low contractor in Pine Street, did a fairly good job. There's a few things we know, left the way the street was, but they're not pavers. But let's say in 10 streets by 60 people, that's about 8 connections per street. Maybe the contractor said, I can give you a price when we're going by doing your 8-inch main. I can do those, and if they have a list of 59 or 60 of them that we know of. I mean, to me, I wanna see us send out the 60 letters to these people and say, you've got some options. You've got to place your line, it's been identified. When we come by in 2027 or 26 or 27 or 28. We're gonna go put a brand new line into the curb stop, and then if your line is not replaced, we don't have to charge it. As you had said, we can't feed, the state's telling us we can't
right,
change, we can't charge a new old line.
right.
So if you choose to put your own line in, hire your own excavator, it's gotta be up
Done
and
by
ready
this-
to go, or
Right.
done by
I mean,
the
if it-
state.
Or you won't have water.
Or you won't have water.
Right, it would need to be inspected by our operator.
Everything's gotta be inspected
make
by
sure
our
it's-
operator,
it can
yes,
be
I agree with that.
connected. Yeah,
But we give those people the option of, okay, I'll get it done now.
yeah. The
Or I'm
idea-
gonna get it done when, if the low bidder, we said, you've got 8 in the project of 26.
Right.
You got 20 to do. Do you wanna give us a price on those? When you're going by, you've got the hole dug for the new curb stop. They may pull it, they may dig to the house, I don't know, but they know the addresses of those now. We all know.
Is this, so the people who are going by, are you saying it's
I say that
who we might pick?
to be
For
the
the-
general contractor to do the whole project, not the curb stop to the house, do the mains.
Okay,
They may say,
You
We'll
need
pick-
easements for that, Joel.
so why do? Okay, Munson needs an easement, but V-Tums doesn't?
They could do contracting individually with each homeowner and not need easements. If they want to do it as part of the project, they need easements.
which is what VTUMS would be doing. We're facilitating as much as we can, but VTUMS would be independently contracting with each property owner to do the work.
So Munson would too, or I'm just gonna use Munson because they
Sure.
a bigger lot. I don't say they're getting a
Yes,
bid.
they
I
would
don't know
need,
if they'll bid.
they would need to have it be a separate thing. My only concern with that is that the town service line replacement is a $4 million project.
Mhm.
And so it gets quite complicated. There's a reason we chose to have this be independent instead of wrapping it into the project because of the complexity of the easements. So we just want to be careful of how that's sort of handled. It's definitely an option, maybe it's something they could do. And that's something we can discuss when we get the bids. But already you're looking at like a massive project and then to add on the individual lines. And it's something that it's gonna be more beneficial to do it ahead of time. So if they're able to do it ahead of time, we can look at that, but I think we have to look at that in more detail to see if that's even a possibility. It doesn't seem like it, given how complex our main service lines are, let alone adding in this project, but I agree,
But it's administrative,
that's right,
it's major administrative stress.
yes. Because it has to be completely separate from our project because it's completely different funding.
Right.
But if I understand that, but if they're making a choice to hire somebody else, that's on them.
You mean the
And,
homeowner?
yeah,
Correct.
and if they
Yeah.
choose whoever is doing the water line, that's
Yeah.
still on them.
And more than likely, if we have if it's an actual number of 59.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a number of people who don't wanna use a particular
Right.
service, no matter who we recommend.
Yeah.
I think on our side is that we're trying to make it as easy as
Yeah.
possible, because this is something that is unexpected, something that the state is requiring of us. We have a 10-year timeline for this, both our service line replacements and customer service lines, but it's accelerated for us in Bristol, because we are replacing our
Right.
service lines, and that triggers the updates.
Right.
You know, the majority of lines are good, we don't need to replace them, but there are, you know, 59 at least that have been identified in this part of the project that will be potentially.
So whatever letter goes out, you're gonna give them the options,
Correct.
hire your own,
Yeah.
but it's gotta be done by,
Yeah, it's a big thing.
It's gotta be done by the time
Right.
the water main goes by your house, so that you.
We
can
won't know
hook
that
up.
until our bids are.
So it's,
That's
so
right.
as much as we can control, the better for us, but we know that there will be. You know, lots of ideas and ways that people wanna do things, but we still have to have some sort of control.
Yeah.
Because it ties in.
I
And
think-
if we don't have that control, what happens is, we're not able to give them water when we go by with our new service line.
I,
That just needs to
I
be
think
clear.
the only ones we need to worry about are the ones that we're helping finance.
Okay,
I mean, I think that's what it boils down to. That eliminates the problem you're talking about.
Mhm.
That solves the problem that we're trying to meet. If we're offering this service to help somebody and it's being financed through the town,
okay.
that we need control over. If you wanna hire Joe Schmo to put
Yeah.
your water
And
line
I'm
in,
paying for it myself, and not
That-
using.
And you don't need to hire an attorney
Okay,
to do an easement.
right, and you would work with your own contractor to do that.
Good.
You know, and it would be the same thing, who we use, let's say it is VTOMs that we agreed to use them. They are doing an individual contract with each of those property owners. But it's, you know, the town isn't, they're not contracting with us, they're contracting with property owners, but we're using them as part of this package to make it as easy as possible for people to do.
we're loaning the money to the property owner, not.
Correct, yes, if they choose to do finance.
I have a question,
Sure,
the 18 unknown?
yes.
But yeah, no, with our new water policy, does that allow Jill to now move forward, get them to like force them to give us whatever, or let us in?
It's definitely, with the new policy updates, it's definitely stronger.
Okay,
But it's just one of these things where multiple visits and multiple communications happened, but it
Yeah.
just didn't happen in the timeline that we had that project. So it's just something, you know, we can leave them as unknowns, but I prefer to actually find
Right.
out what they are. We'd like to know what they are.
You know, it's easy enough. We do what Joel said. We turn it off. When they get home, they call, they say, I haven't got any water. We say, when we see your line, we'll turn it back on.
I think all of you agree, we shouldn't do that, but I mean, yes. It's
there's
nice.
a part of me that would
Yes.
like to do
I know, but yes. Well, that might, yeah.
There's just one that I really wanna do that on.
I know who that is.
Keep that.
I still won't, but I want to.
So we've got 18 that we'd like to get known, because that's definitely beneficial, because hopefully out of those 18, there are some in there that are copper. And that don't need to be replaced, and that narrows our number down, but.
Oh, and I'm sure we'll find, I'm sure that
Yes.
we have some known ones that we'll find aren't
Correct.
what we thought they were,
Yeah.
because, you never know who did a repair 20 feet outside of their house and the contractor that did it ran copper and hitched it to the galvanized and.
Yeah,
And when you go and dig up the curb, you're gonna find out that
Yeah.
it's,
That'll be a problem.
yeah, there's always,
and
problem.
but that's gonna happen.
there's always
Yeah.
gonna be surprises. Yeah, so that's where we're at the moment, and then in terms of the revolving loan, the fund, you know, we could choose our interest rates depending on, AMI income levels. Well, I have the 1 to 2 year, this is the thing that Jill commented on, so it might be, you know, up to 5 year, depending on how you wanna pay it. And obviously what the cost is and how you're gonna pay it. Various eligible expenses, and then maybe this is how we determine what interest rate, if we decide to use an interest rate. Different AMIs, but again, this could be, we need to work through this and see what is gonna work best for
I
you.
guess what I was saying about the interest rates, Ian, was that, doesn't the revolving loan fund say it has to, the rate is 2% above the T-bill or whatever it
Oh,
was?
you're right, yes,
So, can
Yeah,
we
I
do 0?
we'd have to look at the,
Okay.
yeah,
The only, and I would suggest we obviously keep it as low as possible.
Yeah.
The only thing I would add to this is that when we are considering adjusting loan term lengths. This is the revolving loan,
Right.
and it is a great resource for the town, as well as will tie in for businesses and other economic
Right.
development in the future. And if we extend those terms longer, and I'm not saying we shouldn't, but just something to think about, it's gonna tie up that resource for us, it's gonna
Yeah, I
bog
know.
down the revolving loan.
Mhm.
And could extend it out for several long time, so,
Mhm.
the revolving loan fund is pretty healthy right now. But this will eat into it pretty significantly in our bandwidth, so.
Yeah.
Just wanna add that.
So that's where we're at. So do we need, since this is the sort of first time we're all talking, I mean, we know about this. Do we need like a motion to continue working on this, or do we have consensus from the board?
I think
I think it's
consensus.
consensus.
Okay, all right, that sounds good to me. All right, that's what I have for that. We'll keep working on that and provide updates as we have them.
Ready. So we're ready to move on.
Yeah.
Water Commission again, School Street Extension, replacement decision. I'm
Okay.
guessing that's why you're here, Kevin, and that's
No,
why.
he's here for something.
Oh, he's here for something.
But he can also answer questions.
Okay.
That's not what he came for now.
No, I know.
Do you wanna leave? Wait this far?
Wait a minute, I just heard the clock start.
He came in fast. Okay, so. Also to do with water is. What's everyone signing? Okay, so we have,
Mhm.
we have the. Similar to the customer service line replacement, we have this additional. Extension that we need to replace. It was identified, needing replacement. We've gone through some history and that this document's on the website as well. So. There was gonna be stormwater improvements. We started talking about the water line that's on School Street off of Park Place or Park Street. It serves a few homes and it serves the old high school building. So. It used to belong to the old high school. And we think it's a 1905 run, serves
Can't be a 1905 run, the high school wasn't built in 1905.
so there wouldn't be water there, okay,
No.
so we still, it's another.
Probably the original was bigger,
Huh?
probably the front part was the original. 1905,
You think so?
yeah.
So it's
Not the
something,
addition.
it's something old.
It's old. Yeah,
We
well,
know
it's definitely old.
We know it's leaking.
We know
so-
it's galvanized.
Yeah, so we discovered. That when the Bristol Town School District sold the old high school property to Twin Birches, that was the first new owner. The school district reserved ownership of the water line, along with the rights to maintain it and repair it. And that's not the current school district we have today. But
They still own
but
it.
they own it, and it was a discovery to them as well as us. We were, it was sort of always been unknown. We have been serving water through that line for the last however many decades. And so. With the help of our attorney, he discovered that MAUSD currently does own that water line.
Much to their thrill.
Yeah, yeah. Must be their throw as well. So,
Yeah, kick their attorneys out. Why would their attorney want to ever keep that?
so that's where we're at now in terms of they own the line, what are we gonna do?
The attorney found out.
We hired our water engineer. Steve, to sort of price out what a replacement outside of even the replacement projects that we're doing. And we got quotes back of 75,000 to 161,000 just for that section. We paid Steve to do that, and these were the bids. We never acted on this because we weren't sure how this was gonna tie into the main service line replacement project. So. In the most recent discussion that we've had on this is that we couldn't add it to Bristol West because Bristol West had already been inventoried and already been run through its process, and this was never included as part of that. But we could add it to phase 3, which would be Bristol East. East would be working on, but we'd also do that. Perhaps we could put it into there. We then talked about doing a change order when phase 2 was going along. And that would be a separate thing that maybe that contractor, whoever it is that we pick, could go and do this. Or since we've been talking to VTOMs about replacing customer lines, perhaps VTOMs would be able to do the replacement as they're doing customer service lines around town. pricing from Jill at VTOMS, comes in at about 40,000. So a lot less than the bids that we received about a year ago or a year and a half ago. And that's where we're at. So
We received those based on just if a contractor was coming in just doing that. Not, okay, I just got $2 million worth of work on 5 streets. And I'll take that as a,
no, this price is independent of the.
no, the quoted price up above was between 175 and 160,000.
Correct.
But that was just doing that alone, not. That was priced out, just doing that alone, not as.
Correct. Yes, that was just what Steve engineered to be replaced. So not a tremendous amount of water line.
No,
But that's what that price is. So that price would definitely go down because our cost per foot for our Bristol West project would be a certain price, and we could add that in, and we could do a change order on there. That adds a little bit more complication and starts to maybe tie in a project that's not supposed to be tied in with that project, even though we're not using the DWSRF funds for that project like we are with everything else. It starts to get a bit muddy. So that's why we sort of started talking about what are the other options here. And so our latest discussion, as I said, is sort of talking to VTOMS. Most recently, because we had discussed the customer service line, we asked them, is this something that you might be able to price out for us to be able to replace as well? Since it's a similar thing. It's not going into a house, but it's a small extent to 5 properties. So where we're at now is sort of figuring out what direction we want to take for this particular project. And we need a decision because similar to the customer service lines, we need to have everything in place so that it's all replaced. So when we do replace water lines,
They have water.
they can connect, yes. So
are any of those 5 lines in that 59 section?
Of the unknowns.
But
Well,
no,
we know Dale's is,
we know Dale's is.
and I'm guessing, I'm guessing you're gonna find a line that
Church.
goes to the old church. And
Rectory, I mean,
I would assume the
rectory.
rectory is probably galvanized.
Rectory's-
We know yours is copper, right?
Yeah,
You've
she
changed
just
yours.
replaced hers. Too long.
And then there's one house, I think the school is
Where
copper,
those all places.
At least the one that goes to the gym is copper.
yeah. Oh, that's the
There's 2
only.
lines right there that go in
You think
there.
that copper?
I
There's 2
don't-
lines that go into the school. I thought.
Jill,
And
you know-
Cyrus has looked at it, there's just one. And
Is
it's
it-
copper.
There's probably an old one.
There, he says there could be an old one though. Who knows if it's attached to anything or if it's leaking like crazy.
down there.
I'm guessing you're gonna find the line that goes into the old section where the original building was.
Right.
You're gonna find one that goes to where the church was, in between the church and the rectory, there was a church there.
Uh-huh.
So I'm guessing that find a couple other leakers as we head up through there.
The old church.
Well, I
is-
bet you they're still on the corp. They're always left on if you didn't see them
And there's
dig
some
down.
stormwater in there too, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, there's stormwater quite close by, so it's gonna be a interesting project.
And a buried tank of some sort somewhere there.
So that estimate is just a budget number to try to use to make a plan. If paving comes in at the square yards that it could be, if we really just have to cut 4 feet and go the 200 feet, that could save a couple thousand. We don't do lump sum pricing. We just do it time and materials. So if it costs less, it costs less. If the town wants to donate materials, like the stone that goes into it, for instance, sometimes that happens. If because the line would belong to the water system, there's not going to be tax paid on buying the water lines. We should be able to build the main out of CTS with T's going into each of the services. There's 4 3/4 copper services because they're going under a road, and 1 1-inch copper service again because it's going under a road. So I just priced it out, just saying, that would be a pretty generous number to come in under.
Yeah. But I think it's great. Thank you, Jill.
Yeah.
How we want to fund. One option, there's a few options. The latest that we've talked about is just having it under contracted services in the water budget. We have enough in there.
And the town of Bristol pay it? 100%, is that what you're saying?
Yes, because we're gonna, no matter what, it's essentially the water users are paying for
Yeah.
But the high
So,
school owns it.
the high school owns
it.
it,
Right, but the high school didn't know they had.
so what?
So you also have 50 people who didn't know they had galvanized line, you're making them pay.
Hey, right,
So I mean, this is just a big galvanized
I mean-
line, stop and think.
and it's a
about
service line,
What,
it. That's my point.
you guys did have a conversation with the high school
Yeah,
3, 4
Right.
months, 6 months ago, I don't know when it was. What did they tell you? We're not paying a dime?
no,
No,
they,
splitting?
no, they didn't sit, but they didn't want anybody doing anything with it at that time.
yeah.
I mean, they could
They,
just say,
they didn't know they had it and they didn't know what to do with
Right.
it. We were asking.
it's not
them-
like it serviced something they needed. You know, we say, okay, we're shutting your water off, it's gonna affect these people, the people who live over there, it's not gonna affect Mount April open tomorrow morning, because there's no more
Yeah.
school over there.
Right,
Wasn't a secret, the institutional memory was lost over time, because it was in the 1990s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's when the town was still a village, and I don't know why the school district did it that way, but that's what they did. It wasn't,
Right.
it wasn't oversight, it was actually unusual, so it was intentional for some reason.
and it was quit claim to the current district,
Yeah.
not too long ago.
Yeah.
One of those papers
So,
here.
I'm sorry, did they not read those papers?
Was it one of those papers the attorney says here,
Sign
take the
it.
pen, sign here, bear down, there's 3 copies.
I mean, more than likely.
Yeah, they just,
So, but we need to make a decision. If we're going to ask them to pay for some of it, we need to ask them and we need to get an answer from them.
We need to ask them.
I think we need to ask them because
And what is our ask?
the way our policy is right now, it's. That line has to be replaced, it's their responsibility,
Right,
Ask them.
they're gonna have to deed the land over to us. At the very least.
Yeah.
Because right now, we don't even have the ability to go and change that line.
right.
Correct. Which is why nothing has been done so far because it's quite complicated.
well, they could transfer the line to you by easement, not that the land necessarily.
Yeah,
The easement, yeah, the
Yeah,
easement that
we
they
don't-
have, they have that,
They don't own the land, they just.
right, they have an easement.
Yeah, but that's easy to bring to us.
okay.
But I mean, we definitely don't wanna. Have to pay for that portion of it. I mean, I don't wanna have to pay for any of it, but
I don't think we should have to pay for any of it.
you're not, you're not gonna get them to pay for it, they don't. They don't have any reason to.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens if this water line fails? All those five residents are there, turn around and sue them? Because they didn't maintain the water line that they own?
I gotta say, there's gotta come a point when something fails and it's causing massive amounts of damage. And I do feel like there's a service line within there that needed to be replaced, still needs to be replaced, and there's connection issues at the moment. If the leak that we just fixed on Saturday was probably 15 gallons a minute, and that was like a half-inch hole on a corporation, can you imagine what it is with a galvanized line with holes all throughout the whole thing?
Yeah. It's a system.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's more to gain than to lose personally by not letting something that's leaking like that just sit there and persist and not even having a way to separate it from the rest of the system without a valve there. And you can't touch it without permission. It feels like, I think as the water operator, it feels like a liability on the water system to have something that is just that old, that leaky, and it can't even be part of any project right now because we don't own it.
Well, how much power do we have under, I don't have the new ordinance in mind. But it's pretty robust, so. You looked at town's ability to say, fix this school district.
I mean, we're taxpayers of the school district. Do we want the school district to spend $40,000 replacing a water line and then handing it over to the town water department?
There's paying it over the whole town, then the water district who's got minimal,
5 towns,
right?
5 town school district.
Versus state money.
Go ahead.
What will be achieved in the way of savings for the town or for the water department or for whomever who is now dumping untold gallons into the ground because there's a leaky line.
I think,
Forget about who owns the line. How much is the town gonna save by having that line repaired? And can that savings in any way offset the cost to the, we'll call them innocent bystanders here, the homeowners who are, you know,
yeah, the rest of the water district.
uh,
And I think that that was the point that Jill was trying to make, that we'd be better off to cut our losses and just replace that line than to squabble over who's gonna pay for it.
I would need to do a calculation of water loss cost. But I'd have to say, if we're pumping, let's say it's 30 gallons a minute into that leak, the production of that water, being it's chlorinated, it's pumped up to the tank, et cetera, over time, that's gonna be more expensive, and you're not gonna be able to have as many houses connect to your water system because your capacity is being taken up by leaks. It seems silly to replace all these other things on the west side of town and not take care of one that you know that's old and leaky.
I mean, you know.
I get that, but they need to have some responsibility to this. I don't care whether they knew they had it or not, they did, somebody at some point knew they had it. There's gotta be some financial consideration by the school. If we split it, fine, but they have to have some
Skin in the
skin in the game.
I'm willing to split it with them, Michelle, I agree with you 100%. I mean, they've got some, no offense, Kevin, but they got, not you, by no means. They got some real bad advice back in 1990, 88.
The board decided they were.
No, we think we better keep it just in case, but in good faith, our water department, not our operator, our town of water department, we've been billing them. This couple here, those 5 over there for how many years? Have been taking their water check every 3 months. Thank you very much. And now we can say, oh boy, thank you, we sold you a lot of water, but really not our line, and dude, we don't wanna repair it now.
Right,
So,
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah, but-
That could be an argument, that the school has. You've been using our water line all this time and charging water.
Okay, so what's the difference between that and any other water line that goes out to 3 or 4 different houses? We charge them too.
I think we approach Mount Abe and say, we'd like $40,000 to replace that and we'll eat the rest. And we don't know we have an estimate of 70 to.
Asking them to pay 100% of the cost.
No,
No,
that's what they're saying.
That's what
The
Beacom
estimate
is
from the
saying.
engineer was 75 to
Right,
100.
the other ones were
And I'm
higher.
saying, we'll split that with
The
you.
bids were 75 to 100, 160.
is there any value to the ownership of the line? Does that have any worth? In other words, could they say, we will deed that line over to the town, we'll
They're gonna have to
release
do
our
that.
right of way, no. And that has some value. You can buy that right of way from us for your new water line and somehow offset the cost by receiving that right of way from the school.
See it.
It doesn't really add any value to us, other than access.
Well,
Other than we're not dumping water into the
Yeah.
ground.
yeah, and you're serving, so your taxpayers.
Our district.
Yes.
Yeah, so water is paid for by the users. It's an enterprise fund. It is not paid for by taxpayers.
Right, I get it.
But it is paid for by you, because you live in the district.
Your bill's
This-
probably
I guess
$85
this is what-
every 3 months.
I
Like
mean,
mine.
I'd be willing to say, we'll split the cost with you. We don't know what that cost is yet. You know, it can be anywhere from 40,000 to 70,000, you know, whatever. But,
Half the cost, whatever it is.
yeah, whatever it is, half the cost.
You gonna let them roll legal fees into that for changing the deed work over too?
That's pretty easy.
Yeah, that's pretty easy. Michelle will do it.
Tell them I can do 10 minutes.
Yeah, you're gonna get billed for 3 hours.
It's very reasonable.
Yeah.
And you're not.
Okay. So I think people know what I would prefer. I think the water district pays for it. We want it to become our line. We want the line to support the rest of the district. But it sounds like we have 3 board members who,
I think we ought to at least try.
okay.
You don't know until you.
Yeah, I mean, we're making our water users pay more money. They're already paying how much for Bristol West, Bristol East, Pine Street. So, I mean, the school has already said, we'll give you the line.
Yeah.
That's not a question.
We just
But
want
we
the
don't
line,
want-
we
we
want the
don't want
line they
the-
give us to be a good one.
But it's not gonna be, and that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, either way, we replace the line. That's a given.
Yes.
Thing too is like, now is the chance to do it, and if we miss this chance. 20 years or however long since the last select board had the opportunity to fix it, or Kevin couldn't even figure out why they passed on it. So I mean, it just seems like.
Somebody thought it was gonna be a maker,
Yeah.
and they were gonna bill for the water,
It was the
and
school's
never
idea.
did.
It's the school's idea, that's.
Yeah.
Do we know when Park and School Street, not this in line, but Park and School Street is in Bristol West? Do we know what year that's gonna be done?
No, we're not in that way. We'll get close, early next year, yeah. But again, this could be replaced, well before those streets are,
It should be.
yes.
It
Yeah,
should be
idea.
done sooner rather than later. That should be one of our
And
priorities.
we have a number that is, I think, far more tenable than our previous bids that we received.
It's also budgeted to contracted services, which is exactly what that budget line is for. So really the argument is, should the water enterprise fund that has a budget line for this exact project be supplemented from the school? That's the real question, because this is a
I think
budgeted line to do this exact thing.
It contracted services, it wasn't specifically thinking this. I don't know. It's not
That's my only concern, using the contract services,
It was.
we burn up that contract
contractor
services
services.
on all, I mean, that's the line we just fixed on Saturday.
Right,
That's
that will
contract
come out of
services.
contracted services.
Yes, I am aware,
So I'm just afraid if we burn it all on this, we're good, I'm sorry.
but it has to happen, just because we don't like something doesn't mean the problem is going to go away.
Oh,
Okay, just wanted to.
So I would say, I would say, and to try to find common ground here so we can move on, that we're gonna replace that line regardless,
Yeah, it's gonna
but we're gonna ask the school to divvy up half of it.
You may need to tell the school.
Or we're
Tell
gonna
the
tell
school
the
that,
school.
yeah. I
You
would
need
say
to-
ask
you
them.
need a carrot and stick on it, you know?
Mhm.
It's their water
Especially
line, it
if
needs to
it's
be
this big.
replaced. We know it needs to be replaced. We're upgrading everything.
Yeah.
We want you to pay for half of it.
You have to pay for half,
You have to pay for half of it.
not want, you have to.
Chat.
The wording too could be if you pay for half of it, we'll take ownership of it once it's done. Or before it's done, as long as you agree to it, and that way you guys have the right of way to do the work.
Get that in writing.
Yeah.
Something's-
Well, an argument can be made if it busted like what happened in North Street, they would be facing a much larger financial problem, and so they very much should be incentivized to.
Cause as of right now, if it were to leak and
It falls
we had to go in and fix it, it falls on
And we
them.
would send them the bill.
Mhm.
And I think that's what we need to make clear.
Yeah. Exactly.
So if we dig that up right now, or in the spring, and said all 200 or 100, whatever it was, how many feet needs to be replaced?
It does need to be
I
replaced.
know it does, we could send them the whole bill.
I mean,
If it failed, we could send them the whole bill.
It is failing, it's just not surfacing.
Back to that private line, you know, could they say, no, we're gonna replace it ourselves with our own contractor?
Of course.
Willing to get
Okay,
right
but it's
on
a
it.
private line.
Yeah.
Right now, it's a private line.
So maybe that's the angle. That line needs to be replaced.
yeah, and here's the current bids from
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
We are willing to pay for half of it, provided you turn it over to us once it's repaired.
I make a motion, we have our town attorney draft up that, what you just said, Beaker, instead of the school district's attorneys and superintendent of schools for consideration. That line needs to be replaced, and we're willing to split the cost with you at this time. If it fails, you'll have to pay the 100% of the cost.
Well, let's look at our new ordinance first and see if we can utilize enforcement procedure process out of that before we send, you know,
Okay.
and get that in place, and then we can have a dialogue.
What he said.
Sounds good. You and I'll start working on it.
You
Wanna
need a
give that-
motion or no?
Do we need,
Time
do
of
we
the
need a
year.
motion for that?
I think we got
Yeah.
enough consensus on that.
The water commissioners can decide.
As water commissioners.
All right, so we have clear direction?
Yeah, Greg and Kevin are gonna talk. Figure
No,
it
but they know, but
Yeah.
the direction
Right.
the clear direction is that we're gonna pursue the ordinance to see if we can enforce,
Yeah.
and then have the conversation that, you
The
know,
negotiation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
and this is gonna happen in a timely manner. It's not something we can drag our feet on.
No, sir.
Ready to move on?
So they write back to us and said,
Don't
just
say,
put the line out.
just,
Okay.
that
Then I'll
we
bring it
can't,
back.
we can't
Send
shut the
you-
line up, there's no shut off on
Oh,
All right,
it.
there is it, okay.
Right.
are you clear with where we're headed?
I am, may I make one suggestion,
Yes.
observation? I continue to believe that it would be worthwhile to quantify how much water is being leaked by the school's line now. Because that's costing the town, am I correct?
Costing the water district.
And I think in your discussions with the school, it would be helpful to have them understand how much they're already costing the town in the way of leaked water.
I'll have that
Which
information.
would justify,
I'll have that information when I.
which would justify
Absolutely.
you're asking them to
Replace
the line.
Absolutely.
Or replace the line.
Absolutely.
Just an observation.
You know, yeah, absolutely. I'll
Yeah.
bring it.
That's why we have these discussions. Everybody's got a different idea
It's
and
the way you get at it.
we figure out a way to move forward from there. All right, so we're gonna move on then. Select Board Roundtable. Joel.
Just one thing, too. Can our health officer or anybody, it's been now almost 10 months since the tragic house fire on East Street. And, it's pretty close to the sidewalk, kids walking to school and stuff. What's the outcome gonna be that has? Is it coming down? Is the town, can the health officer enforce that?
Sharon, we don't have, that's not enforceable by us, but Sharon has and Chris have been in conversations with them.
You assume it's an insurance issue.
Yeah, they're going back and forth trying to find the right price and it's just taking a long time. But we do not have any teeth to do that.
We could have teeth if we wanted it.
Right.
I've written said thing for other towns. There's lots of towns have a vacant building ordinance because sometimes nobody wants to fix it and it just sits right there, so.
If they want to, it's just not moving at a speed that.
Yeah, but the insurance company has done
Exactly.
everything, everybody's done their investigation. Even though they're fighting about how much it's worth to me,
Yeah,
the Hulk doesn't need to stay there.
right, exactly.
That site's been released. 10 months out. Cause and Origin folks have been into it. State Fire Marshal's been through it. I gotta believe that the site's been released. But that doesn't mean the insurance fight's over,
No.
but.
That could
you
go
don't-
on for
you-
years,
You
yeah.
don't care about that.
Yeah.
You just want that building down, but you can have a vacant building ordinance. I've written it.
I've had
Couple
people
times
ask
for-
me about it.
for-
I've really done.
Towns don't have one until they get one of these problems, and then it hangs around and hangs around, and so it's easily done. We can crank it out.
10 minutes, Michelle.
Seriously, it wouldn't take, I changed the name of the town. And we're in pretty good shape.
Done.
No, I'll send it to you guys and take a look at it. It doesn't hurt to have. it.
It probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
Thank you.
Anything
That's all I
else?
got, Peter.
Michelle,
I'm good.
Ian?
I sort of talked about a lot of what I've been doing.
Okay. And I am good. Town administrators report.
The only thing I had to add today is just that, it's really cool to see town of Bristol staff coming together and working cohesively as a team, and it's been a pretty fun process to be involved in, and I can't be more thankful for the folks that we have here, and they're all working their tails off for the residents of Bristol, and so I just wanted to say thank you for them and to keep it up. And that's it.
Okay, any other business for the good of the order?
No.
Correspondence,
No, there wasn't any.
executive session.
I make a motion, we enter executive section for one VSA, section 313, attorney-client communications, and I invite Kevin Brown to join us.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Second.
Have a motion, a second, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, nay, motion carried.
You're cool, but I hear sound. Well, you did that. It was in my bag, buried in my.